Thank you for joining the October 9th, 2018 VOLTHA call. So this is our final sprint update call for Sprint 8 for VOLTHA 2.0. And we do record this to post it to YouTube, so keep that in mind during any discussions today. And with that, I think we will go right into the agenda. We have a number of new issues to review, and then there were some requests for specific backlog issues to be discussed. One was on the agenda last night. I just added another one here for a quick comment today also. And then we'll get into the Sprint 8 status updates. And I did, as of the status I saw last night, at least I did list the items that were waiting or pending a merge in Garrett. And I believe related to primarily this one here and also probably 733. So Sean Ying, I think you may have had some comments from ONF. So if ONF is on, we can have them speak to this. Otherwise, I'll probably ask you to give some feedback about timing for these merges. And then I did see one that was awaiting review in Garrett, and status may have changed since last night. So if I didn't capture everything or if it's out of date already, please bear with me for that. And then finally, a reminder to everyone that Sean Missette had sent some material last week to VOLTHA Discuss for comment on expanding types of technology profiles. So if you do have feedback for him, please send that over VOLTHA Discuss. So with that, we'll go into the new JIRAs, starting with 1259. And 1259, this one is already done. But this was a defect opened on OpenOMCI. MIB database update error truncates previous data. So this one has been completed by Chip and is in Sprint 8. Any quick questions or comments? He does have the description here for the behavior. Okay. Next item is 1260. This is to test the Arcadian ONU. With the Broadcom OpenOMCI ONU adapter. And this one, I can't see it on this screen, but I believe I did see that there was a related merge to add the vendor ID to the Broadcom OpenOMCI ONU adapter. I'm not sure in terms of test status if this should be moved to in progress. Let's see if Shad is on the bridge.
Yes, so we were having trouble dialing the normal number, Julie.
Okay.
No.
Ah, okay. So it looked like folks were slow on getting connected on audio. So that was actually happening. Okay.
Yeah. I tried dialing it. We tried dialing it from our telepresence and then my cell phone. Both got fast busies.
Oh, that's not good.
So we had to use the alternative GoToMeeting number.
Okay. Okay. So I'll maybe circle back to this one later, because I think since this one is one Shad assigned to himself, I probably need to get the update from him. Yes?
It is in progress.
Okay.
The initial connection established. There are some issues they had to address, but
Okay.
it is by adding the default vendor ID, it's up and running now.
Okay. All right. So it looks like there probably will end up being some additional work related to the results from the testing. Thank you, Sean. All right. Then 1261 is the next item, and this one was again opened and completed by Chip. So this one is done and in Sprint 8. OpenOMCI escapee decode fields for ANIG-ME incorrect. And so this was related to, I think, two attributes. Any quick comments, Chip, or questions for Chip? All right, I am not hearing anyone, so we will move on to the next item, 1262. OpenOLT, downstream packet in must decode PON interface ID and ONU ID. And this is another one that was opened and assigned to Shad. It looks like it is not in progress at this time. We do have the description here. And this is to having the info enable the OpenOLT adapter to avoid a lookup of the KV store for the ONU ID. Any questions we need to take back to Shad on this item? Okay, so it is targeted at this point for Sprint 8. We have a handful of days remaining for that work, but it is a low story point item. 1263, OpenOLT reconciliation broken after adding hooks for customizing OpenOLT adapter. This one was reported and completed by Girish, and so this one is done as well. Any questions for this item before we move on? Okay, next new defect was 1264, OpenOLT, unable to override methods of OpenOLT. This was reported by Kata and then assigned to Shad. And at this point is targeted for Sprint 8 as well. It looks like Shad is joining the bridge, so we can circle back to him if we have questions for the other item. Hi, Shad.
Hi. So yeah, I'm working on this. I'll talk to. I don't know. I just joined right now, so
okay.
Yeah.
We've been having problems with the audio bridge and getting people connected too. So attendance is as we're getting people in. So I had a quick. Sean gave us a quick update on the Test Arcadian ONU. So we did move that one to in progress, but it sounds like there will probably be some additional work for some issues that were found.
Oh, Shad, shall we just say this is done? I think the issue found is not VOLTHA issue, right?
Yeah.
Move it to done?
Yeah, it's they're debugging it on their side. So yeah, we could say it's done.
Okay. Let me add a comment here.
That seems kind of contradictory.
Yeah.
So testing is complete, but they're still debugging.
Test complete on VOLTHA side.
Actually,
but you completed the testing and you found errors.
Mm-hmm.
I think like yeah. I mean, Sean is right. Let's keep this open until Arcadian finishes, because Arcadian is not here on this TST call. So
okay.
When Arcadian resolves the issue or whatever, gives us a fix, gives us a firmware update, I'll close this and I'll verify it.
I'm fine with that. I just thought maybe the issue may not be the ONU adapter issue.
All right. Let me find where I was. I think this is where we were, but I'm not actually 100% sure.
Yeah.
Okay, were there any questions or comments on 1262?
I think this is done.
I think
this one's done.
downstream packet.
Done. Okay.
Julie, did you do the 1261?
1261. This was a quick view we had on the issue from Chip.
Okay.
There weren't any comments, I think. Did you have a question, Sean?
No.
Okay. Then I think we did talk about 1263, 1264. Okay, 1264 was unable to override methods of OpenOLT. So, Shad, I think you're probably aware of this one. It was opened by Keita-san.
Yes, I'll talk with him in the office today if he's not here. We'll take it offline at ONF office.
All right, great, thanks. 1265 was another defect opened, and this one is infinite loop MIB uploading with OpenOMCI MIB upload task. Lynn, I think you're working this one, correct?
Yes, I'm looking into this issue, but now I'm preparing for the BBWF, so I will do it after finish the preparation.
Okay. I added you as the assignee because I was pretty sure you're working on it. Is this one, do we think this will be completed in Sprint 8? I know you said you're working on BBWF items right now. So does this need to be moved to Sprint 9?
Yeah, it's better to move to Sprint 9. No, currently, we just use the old Broadcom MIB upload to replace the open side MIB upload, and later we will roll it back after we figure it out.
Okay. So let me get this into 2.0, and I have a note that will pull this one into Sprint 9. Thank you. Any questions for Lynn while we're on this item? Okay.
I'll pull it to Spring 9. Oh, you have not created Spring 9.
I don't think I've made. Yeah, if you want to put a create a placeholder, that's fine, and we can do that. So 1266 vCore stuck in loop due to etcd DNS lookup error, and then Shad, this one is assigned to you as well, and is related to SIBA in a box build failures.
Yeah. So I really don't know what to do with this. It's SIBA in a box is yeah. So somebody at ONF is doing this. I think it's Andy, and this saw some errors in it, and a part of ONF. They think that I'm responsible for everything that's VOLTHA, so they just assign.
Okay, so should I remove you as the assignee at this point?
Yes, just if you could make it unassigned. Yeah.
Okay, I can do that, and then we will look for an owner for that item. And then is this an item for the group that we think should be addressed in 2.0? I'm guessing for the.
I suspect this is very likely has to do with the initial Helm chart install of VOLTHA, not installing the etcd cluster properly.
Okay.
And because etcd cluster doesn't come up, VOLTHA obviously can't resolve the name. This is more or less a known issue with how etcd is installed with VOLTHA, and it takes a couple of attempts at installing it to get it right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say, I know Andy Baby was probably working on this on the SIBA in a box side, but I think even he's seen this as well, and there's a couple of extra steps that may need to be done to get it cleared.
If you could add some comments in here along those lines, then we'll see if we can get that dialogue started.
Sure, yeah, I can add my 2 cents.
Thank you. All right, so I'll leave this unassigned right now for fixed version and for anyone to work on it and see if that can get resolved with some side discussion. 1267, support ONU that use VEIP unitype. And this one, Matt, you reported this and are working on this one as well.
Yeah, this one is kind of more or less a side effect of conversations on VOLTHA discuss around multiple ONU types. And as folks bring on more ONUs, this particular type of ONU keeps coming up. So I don't think it'll be done by the end of Sprint 8, so it's likely a Sprint 9 thing.
Okay. Sean, did you put the placeholder in yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. I think I'll remove this from Sprint 8 then, if you're not expecting it to be done. Whoops. Yes. Then there, and then we'll target this for Sprint 9. Right this morning.
Is this something we need kind of a discussion on, just because, you know, how does the ONU would have to know to use a VIP versus physical terminations?
I mean, at this point, the way I'm working it is it's based on discovery. When I go through and do a MIB download and see if there are PPTP or VEIP, and then the actual unis themselves, I take the uni list and figure out, is it a PPTP? And if it's not, then check if it's a VEIP. And then if it's not either one of those, then I basically call it an unsupported ONU.
Is that deterministic though? I mean, because I think you get both, don't you? If it's an RG, don't you see both PPTP and VIP?
So the one ONU I have, the one ONU I have, it's been deterministic. But this same ONU also has POTS uni as well, and I found that the uni IDs don't duplicate between them. So if it's a PPTP or VEIP or POTS uni, the IDs are partitioned in a way where they don't overlap.
We have additional questions?
It just might be good to have just a definition of how RG versus SFP type ONUs are supposed to work. But we could, like I say, we could take that offline and do that for VOLTHA to discuss maybe.
Okay, that sounds good. If we could take that to VOLTHA discuss, then we can have some dialogue there. Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Matt. 1268, this one is done. This was an ADTRAN OLT specific item. And so that one is complete and is in Sprint 8 as well. Any comments or questions for Chip? And we'll move on. Next item, 1269, get alarm next, response next, message defined wrong, alarm bitmap size. So this one was reported and is being worked by, or is assigned to Jason. And do we have Jason on the bridge? I don't see him on the bridge today.
Well, that's up on Garrett's review right now.
It is, okay. Thank you. Oh, here it is. It actually is displayed for me. So let me move this one into Sprint 8. Give me a second, I'll get it moved into Sprint 8. Okay, thank you for that. I didn't notice that that was down here in Garrett. Do we have, let me see if we've got, okay, so we've got, got reviewers on that. Thank you. And next item then, or actually, let me make sure. Did we have any other comments or questions before we move on? This one's up for review. Okay, next is 1270, and then we have two new stories here that were entered as a result of the discussions last week on Thursday. The first is 1270, and then the next is 1271. So Sean Musset, if you want to give a quick overview of those, and we can have any discussion required. I believe there's a little bit of discussion for 1271 from some email dialogue.
Oh, okay. I don't think I saw those, but so yeah, 1270 is basically a story to allow creation of per port pools for the resource manager, so that potentially you could have say a GPON and an XGS PON on the same OLT, and you can define different ranges and bounds for those. 1271 is basically as a result of the potential for ONU range mismatches on the TC layer attributes for the values, and potentially if we need a story for this where we can basically manage different ranges from different ONUs.
So this is the one where I think I had captured it in my email note here. So this is a question I'd seen from Craig, who's not able to be on the call today. So, and it was related, I think, to a question that we had on Thursday as well, to see if we should take this to ONT vendors to see if we have cases out there where there are ONU specific limitations on the supported ranges. It was determined whether or not we need to support those limitations, or if everyone, we have limits on how many items a ONU can support in terms of jump ports and other things, but if the ranges were actually all common, then we may not need to do this work. I think that was the direction. But I don't think we've had any follow-up with going to the ONT vendors. And that may be because I didn't assign anyone to that.
Yeah, I mean, there's two kinds of ranges we have to just worry about. One is, what ranges of those TC values the OLT has and what ranges the ONU has. And, we need to manage the assignment of those attributes based on those two bounds, I guess, potentially.
Okay. Thanks, Sean.
I'm sorry, this is Kevin. I have a question on that. So what I just heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I hope I'm wrong, is that VOLTHA is planning on managing the assignment of these?
The adapters.
Okay, so what if the hardware is actually doing it? So that would be up to to do that translation.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, the resource pools can be initialized from the hardware as well. Yeah, I mean, if the OLT, physical OLT, needs to define what those ranges are and supported things are, that's fine. Plus you can create a new instance of the OLT adapter that it doesn't do anything as far as assigning those attributes if needed.
All right, I think that makes sense. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Sean. Are there other questions or comments on these two items? Okay, so then let me go back to my little note here. Do you think we can just use the minutes that I sent to VOLTHA Discuss to request feedback from ONT vendors on this, on whether they have specific limitations for their devices? Or do we need a separate action item?
Yeah, I sent Sean a couple of questions that I thought might be relevant.
Okay.
But the minutes might give context.
Yeah, I received the email from Sean, and then I am in the process of thinking whom I should send it out for the ONT vendors.
All right. So Sean, I'll just put you down here so that I can keep track of who's doing that. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks to both. So Sean Ying, I'll put you down. I should make sure I'm clear on who I'm talking to. Okay.
No, I see you're typing.
Yeah. All right. So let's go back to these. Any other questions on those two before we move on? And the next one is defect 1272. OpenOLT assertion error when loading Acme adapter. This was reported and is assigned to Shad. And so Shad, wow, Garrett's actually populating in here for me today. So it looks like you do have, looks like it doesn't have a verified, so maybe hung up on Jenkins. Let's see.
I think this is done.
Yeah, it looks like it doesn't have the, okay, no, it did get the,
Need verified label?
Yeah, it needs the verified. It's still not showing up as verified, so something got hung up here, I think. So it should be done, but it's not. And that's kind of reflecting what we've got here too. So I don't know what needs to be done to resolve that, but hopefully that will get cleared and through the system.
Yeah, we can mark this done.
Okay. Should I mark it done before it's merged though, since it hasn't gotten merged? Because it's waiting for the verified label. Let me add a comment.
Needs to be merged.
Yeah.
So as soon as that clears Garrett, then we'll go ahead and mark it done. Thanks. Okay, any questions, other questions on that item? Then next one, BBSIM containerization. This one was opened and is being worked by Keita-san.
Yes, this issue is for containerization for BBSIM in order to make the deployment of BBSIM easy.
Okay, thank you. And I do see this is in progress right now. Are you expecting this to complete in?
Unfortunately, unfortunately, it doesn't pass the Jenkins testing on Gary.
Okay. So do we want to target this for Sprint 8 and see if we can resolve the issues in Garrett then?
Sorry, could you repeat that again?
Oh, do you want me to assign this to Sprint 8 and see if we can resolve the issues in Garrett?
Yes, please. Please
Okay,
set this.
I'll do that.
Yeah, Julie, I tried to add a sprint. I don't know. I forgot how to add a sprint.
Okay.
Or maybe I don't have the privilege to add a sprint.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so thank you, and then we'll see if we can figure out the issue with Jenkins there. Then the next new item is 1274, Simplify Alarm State Machine. So this one is reported and being worked by Jason as well. And it looks like this is in Garrett as well, as waiting for review. Okay, and we do have folks assigned there. All right. So I'm going to move this one into Sprint 8 also, if there are no objections. Any comments from the group? And I'll also move it to in progress since it's in Garrett. Okay, and so this is, we have a brief description here of the work that's being done. Any questions we need to take back for Jason? Okay, then the next item here is 1275, OMCI CLI show command returns error. And this was opened by Craig. And we have a description, capture of the exception noted here. Any questions we need to take back to Craig?
Well, I worked with him on this one. It's a low priority one.
Yeah.
So
okay. So do we think we want to target it for 2.0 or just leave it in?
Yeah, we can target for 2.0.
Okay.
It's the show command reaches up to the base level and just shows some of the parameters you can set, like debug and different settings, and it's probably something simple.
Okay. So I think because we have a number of other higher priority defects being worked, unless someone's going to pick it up right now, we'll leave it unassigned. I won't map it in a Sprint 9 yet unless I get a volunteer. And, so Chip, if you think we'll do it in Sprint 9, I'll make a note there. Otherwise, maybe we can capture it during hardening sprint.
Okay. Yeah, I can probably get it in Sprint 9. It should be simple.
Okay. Okay, so let me just add a note here. We'll target Sprint 9. And I'll put a placeholder for Sprint 9 today or tomorrow and start pulling those items that we've discussed in there. Let me do a refresh, see if anything else came in. I don't see any, so I think that gets us through all of the new items. So let me go back to our agenda. And we had two specific items to go over from the backlog. 1246 is the first one. So let me go over to 1246. And so, Sean, I think you'd requested for this one to be added for discussion today.
Right. So
new comments from Mike as well.
Mike, do you want to make some comment on this one?
Well, I'm still waiting on Sienna to get back to me on a couple of things to see, how we proceed on this. I mean, every 10 minutes, this thing just can't find the Kafka and then reestablishes the connection. So I'm kind of stalled waiting on them.
Right. I know the Ken, do you have any insight on this one?
No, actually, there's a different group that looks after that open source one. So I asked Michael to open an issue tracker on that one, and I guess they have not get back to you, right, Michael?
No, they haven't gotten. Well, we're iterating. Basically, is what's going on right now. They asked for some more information, and I've asked them for some additional information as well.
Okay, is it stuck or is it moving along?
Yeah, I would say. I mean, I posted yesterday where I was at with it, and I'm waiting for them to. They had asked a question if we were using 3.0.0.dev0, and I said I was not. The problem still exists, and they want me to throw the AFKK into full debug mode, and I've got some questions on how to get that to occur from the library.
Okay. Okay, well, I guess we'll give it a couple of days to kind of have all those questions answered, and at least maybe we'll have some form of solution.
Okay. Michael, is that okay with you?
Right, could you repeat that?
Ken was saying waiting for a couple of days and then see what there's updates on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to check on it later today to see if they've gotten back to me.
Okay. Great. Thanks.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Chip. Thanks, Ken. And then the next item I had here, I wanted to briefly talk about 1257, just because this was, I got an update from Craig because he could not be on the meeting today, so he sent it to me via email. So I bring that up with the group here. So this one, he has some changes that he's working on this, and if he can get those modifications in the next couple of days, then we'll target including this one in Sprint 8. Otherwise, it will get mapped into Sprint 9. So right now, he is going to try and get this completed for this week, but it's in a rework process right now.
Okay.
Any other backlog issues that people wanted to bring to the forefront for discussion today? Not hearing any, so we'll go on
Hello?
to Sprint. Oh, yes. Yes.
Hi, Julie. This is George Montano from Northforge. I just wanted to ask, please, for multicast, when will the discussion be? We need to plan a little bit for the automation. So, when should we have that discussion?
So that one we didn't line up a date yet. So, Sean Yang, do you have any recommendations? Do we need to wait until folks are back from BBWF?
BBWF, right.
Okay, so
or doing BBWF actually will be the best time to work on this new item. But it is. George, I think we'll follow up on that one because right now, the 2.0 Golang core and plus adapter containerization, those probably need taking a high priority right now. The multicast, I don't believe will be in any 1.x release. It will have to be in part of the 2.0 release support.
What about the 1.4 support? Do we have a clear explanation of what is supported with the 1.4?
At least for the OpenOT, the 1. Even let me see where the Redis is on too. Amit, and I know the OpenOT adapter does not support IPTV, the multicast, and the ASFV OLT16 adapter. At least during the 1.2 release, I'm aware it doesn't support IPTV multicast also. Amit, is there new progress on the multicast support on the Redis based adapter?
No, Sean. Till date, we have not worked on multicast on the ASF16 adapter.
Right.
Not yet.
Sorry, so multicast does not work on
the multicast. My understanding, you need the OLT adapter to enable the multicast, right? So the adapter right now, I do believe I don't know whether AdTran is continue working on the multicast or not, and I don't know whether the Tibet is working on that. So right now, as far as I know, the existing opened, the adapter right now is on the visible on the GitHub. None of them. I mean, I'm not speaking for AdTran, but I think it's not most of the active adapter today doesn't support multicast. AdTran the Chip, do you want to comment on this one, or Kevin?
Yeah. Currently, well, I mean, we do have some multicast code in our adapter yet, but we're not actively supporting it, and we'll probably wait until XPON is removed to actually investigate that further, because that was one of the missing things out of the XPON CLI is the proper way to do multicast.
Right.
Yeah, Sean, I think we're kind of in the same situation with Tibet.
Okay.
Sean, this is Amit. So, yeah, sorry. So right now there is no support for, as I said, no support for multicast on the ASF16 adapter, but we are thinking of bringing in some amount of support for multicast.
Yes,
but
I think
we don't have
right.
a timeline, and we are contemplating whether we should do it on ASF16 or directly on the OpenOLT.
Correct. So I think so. It is a topic we need to discuss because AT&T and Deutsche Telekom and the others, and I think Turk Telekom, as far as I know, and I don't, and maybe even NTT. Everybody is asking the multicast support. So George, I think at this point the adapter is not sufficient enough to support fully functional multicast service today.
Got it. What about the PON-SIM v2? It's the same. I think we were talking about the PON-SIM first. Even that, it's not implemented.
Ken, do you want to make a statement on that? Ken? I think that's a fair sound, or even oh, I thought Stefan is on. Yeah, I think the assumption is that right now the multicast is not supported. If I heard different, I'll let you know. But we do need to have a strategy or architecture meeting regarding to how do we support multicast in the adapter and also the VOLTHA 2.0. I mean the core.
Okay. Yes, that would be good. So for now, in the automation, we were planning. We left it at the end, the multicast test case for PON-SIM. The first step was using PON-SIM. Then we were planning to look into further into BB-SIM and possibly getting into hardware support, right? So that's why it was important. And yeah, so when we have this discussion, you think then?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So yeah, please.
Okay, thanks.
We should find out. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Julie,
so
back to you.
Sean, Yeah, so Sean, let's see if we can come up with a rough target. We can do that offline for getting this discussion onto one of the Thursday calls.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. And so George, that probably won't be there by the time I send out these minutes, but I'll work with that offline with Sean on trying to line up a time for that.
Thank you, Julie.
Okay.
Thank you, Sean.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. So reminder, Sprint 8 is targeted to complete this Friday. So we do have a number of in-flight items at this point. I do have a list here of ones that we're waiting for merge in Garrett 506, which we did the code walkthrough last week on the VOLTHA calls. So 506 is one of them. I'm not sure the best way to move forward on these items, if we should walk through them one at a time to make sure we have the right people assigned for merging these in, and maybe that's what's holding things up. I'm not sure. So for 506, yes.
So I think is that right now I think the ONF is trying to update ONO's release to 1.13.5 for the BBWF release. So per ONF's request, the code what touched ONOS at this point will not be merged in after the end of this week.
And was that you said to upgrade to ONOS 1.13.5? Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I captured it. Okay. So is that for all code, or was it mainly related to items for the technology profile work?
Mainly for the anything touching the ONOS chip or.
Yeah, the 1.13.5 was fixed for the C tags within the flow descriptor being pushed down from the pipeline, and that's I think the last one. I think until profiles are added.
Okay, so if I captured that right, we have a request then to postpone tech profile related merges until
End of this week.
End of week, which means they may miss Sprint 8.
Until and yeah, Sprint 8, yes.
Okay, so 506, it seems like this one should be able to merge in. So any other questions or feedback from the community here on this first before we start diving into specific items?
First of all, has the community has any issue? I know there's a delay, but the delay for the merge. But at this point, I think the demo and then in BBWF, I think that's top of the list right now to make sure have a smooth demo. So any objection or any concern regarding to the merge in the Sprint 9 for the ONOS related for the technology profile related merge?
Well, other than the delay, no.
Other than the delay, yes.
Because that's going to bring us to this item, which I'd wanted to bring up for discussion today, because I know Gamza is still blocked on the work there. So it looks like she would be blocked for her, the two issues I have here noted, until after we're cleared to do merges again. So is some sort of notification going to come out from the ONF team when they're okay for us to start merging things in again for these?
We will
so that if they happen to complete it early, then we can try and get things into Sprint 8.
Right. And 506, I think, I don't know who's the Thomas Rose. And then there's a
yeah, Tom's used to be at Adtran. He left a while back, so I can.
Okay, so the Ken is another reviewer on this one. Ken, do you think you can?
On which one?
506.
506.
Multicast.
This may be the one I added Ken to yesterday because I think I'd seen that there was no one who could give a +2 that was assigned, unless I'm confusing it with a different issue.
Chip already gave a +1.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm not a core module owner, so I can't +2 this one unless you want me to.
Let me go over here. I think this is the one that Ken, I may have added you to it yesterday.
Okay, I'll take a look.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So then I think that takes us to these. So Sean, we heard you talk about, the concern here is, of course, the further delay on the tech profile work. Any other comments we need to capture here, or objections, or anything else we need to note for today? Okay, I'm not hearing any.
So would that also apply to the 733? That's about OS agent.
It will. I believe it will.
Chip gave you a +1. Okay.
Okay, so 733, let's go take a look at that really quickly. So this is the OF agent. So yeah, so is this one that we need to delay? Yeah. I think this one probably has to be delayed as well. Is that right?
Yeah. I would think it's all applied to that.
I think so also. Any other comments from the group? All right, so once we get a notification we can proceed, let's see what we can do to merge these in as quickly as we can. This work is, of course, still waiting on the merge in ONO, so that's kind of our top priority is that work. So, Gams, is the work that you did for the ONOS item, is that going to be impacted, do you think, by the work they're doing going to 1.13.5? Do you think it's going to make you rework anything?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, that's good. All right, thanks. Okay, so we'll keep that on hold, but I like to kind of have this as one of our top priorities here once we get the clear to go ahead and merge things. And I think Saurav had agreed to do the merge in ONOS after they completed this. Sean, is that your recollection from email, Sean Ying?
Yep.
Okay.
And we'll make Shad to push it.
So Shad, we'll have you hound Saurav to get that done. And then once that's done, then we can work on getting the VOLTHA ones merged in to clear out that work. And then same also for 733. Okay, so that takes us then to 1250. Let me go over here. see what we're looking at. And this is the FTTB flow handling support for the DT use cases. Now, let me see where we are on reviews. Okay, so we've got some code reviews in. I'm not sure if we have others who need to review this.
Julie, I'm waiting for ONO's application changes to get merged before this can be merged.
Ah, okay, okay. So this one is on
So
hold.
that also applied.
Okay, thank you. Oops. Well, let's see if I can fix what I did here.
Yeah, Amit is working on the ONO's application for FTTB changes.
Did you say Amit is working on those?
Yeah, it's under review right now. So once that is
Okay.
merged, we will have a set of changes merged.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 1243, I did note, sorry, 1242. I did note was waiting for review. So let's see where we are in that one. And this was VOLTHA's not connecting to several controllers, or maybe this is the one I added Ken to. I'm trying to remember now. I can't remember who I added. This might be the one I added you to, Ken. I'm trying to remember what I did yesterday. Okay, so this one is still waiting for code review. I'm not sure if there are other people who should be added to this review or not. But right now it's got the verified from Jenkins. Oh, it's not populating up here, but we don't have any code review in yet. So if we have folks who could take a look at that, I think Richard was originally assigned, and then I may have Ken added you into this one.
How do we know who how do we know who has the +1, +2?
This is one I added to Ken. It's but I'm not sure
seeing the
it's the right one.
verified. The 5+1 doesn't seem to be there, but at the bottom in the history it seems to be there. So it's, I guess.
And this is the same thing we saw on the other one that Shad had talked about. So we need to figure out why this isn't working right in Garrett. This is the second time we've seen this on the VOLTA issues here. Thank you for noticing that, Ken. Let me make a comment in the ticket.
So Julie, can I do the previous time that we saw it? I just did a recheck. If you add a comment in Gerrit with a single word called recheck, it triggers the Jenkins job to merge it. So I don't know why it's getting stuck in the state. But if you see a Gerrit stuck. Get things stuck in this state, you can go and just type in recheck in a comment, and that'll re-trigger the Jenkins job.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's see if we can get that sorted out offline. Oh, we are about out of time here. Okay, so let me go over to the board view here in the last 4 minutes that we have. So let me just take a quick look at the agenda as well, make sure, I think I got all through the items I noted here. And I did. Okay, so there may have been other code updates that came in since I sent that out yesterday. So let me, since we're short on time, let me ask the group for the work that is in flight for Sprint 8. Are there other items that we need to call out for attention in the minutes to trigger reviews or comments or anything else at this point? All right, I'm not hearing any, so I think we'll continue and try and get the items cleared up that we had noted here. So I think we can only do a couple of them right now. 506, we can try and get that done. We'll see if we can sort out what's going on with Garrett here and get some reviews there. I believe we have agreement to delay the merge of these, which will delay these likely out of Sprint 8 into Sprint 9. If we get a notification prior to the end of the week from ONF that we can continue, then let's move forward with getting those merged in as quickly as possible. See if we can get them in Sprint 8 to free those up. I think that's going to take us through time today. So we do still have a number of issues that are in the to-do state as well. So I expect that we will be having a number of these carry over into Sprint 9 since we just have a few days left for work in Sprint 8. And then talking about Sprint 9, let's go to the agenda again. So on this Thursday, let's see. Oh no, that's next Thursday. Wait, no, that is this Thursday. It's the 9th today. So this Thursday we do have the BBSIM discussion that was requested, and so Kata-san and Foundry, that was agreed that we'd have some discussion on BBSIM this week. And then Sean Missette, I think you had an updated tech profile proposal for this for discussion on Thursday as well. And then with any time remaining, what I would like to do is work on Sprint 9 planning. And also once I create that placeholder, then module owners or tech leads on things or people who are working on specific tickets that you'll plan to cover in Sprint 9, feel free to kind of pre-map those into the placeholder for Sprint 9, and we can get a preliminary view of what we're looking at for Sprint 9. Any last minute comments or questions in the few remaining seconds we have today? All right, I think we will wrap up for today. We have in the minutes, again, please go ahead and review the future items we have. Sean Ying, you and I will work on targeting a time slot for the multicast discussion, and then I'll send out these notes once I have the recording available to post. With that, I think we'll wrap up today. Thanks, everyone. I'll stop the recording.